And thank you for joining us. I know it's been some time, we've kept people waiting. We've been experiencing some technical issues, but now I'm glad that we are here. Thank you for joining the DEIB Small Talk. So I want to say welcome. Today I have with me a guest speaker. I'm glad she could make it. I have with me a guest speaker, Aimba Murat, and she is the Vice President of People with IAB. And I'm going to introduce her shortly. But before, we'll have a custom to make. If you're wondering who is the guest speaker for today, yes, she is. She's Aimba Murat, and she's the Vice President of People in IAB and IAB Tech Lab. And here is a biography of which I'm going to read to us shortly. So let's meet Imba. Like I said, Imba is she is the vice president of people at IAB and IAB Tech Lab. She stepped into this role in May 2022. She oversaw the human resources functions, including the cultural diversity, inclusion, and all people-focused initiative. Imba is an equity designer, a people strategist, and an authentic people and culture leader. She joined IAB with 15 years of experience in human resources leadership within the nonprofit mission-driven organization. She also brings a unique mix of human resources, executive coaching, and thought leadership expertise. She's also the CEO and founder of I Love Love. I think she's going to talk more about that and daily, and she's a one kind mindset liberation method and that empowers high achieving women to liberate themselves from the achievement cage and guides them towards achieving or activating new ways of being and thinking. Ava holds a master's degree in human resources development from Fordham University, a senior professional human resources and designation, and multiple professional coaching certifications from IPEC and IIN. In 2002, Disruptor magazine named Inga as one of the top 30 life coaches to look out for in 2021. There is a QR code over there. You can meet Imba. You can also connect with her on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's meet Imba. Hello, Imba. How are you?
I'm great. Hello, Florence. How are you?
Hi. I'm so glad that you can make it. But before we start, I just want to let everyone out there who are listening that you can introduce yourself. Tell us where you're joining from. Tell us where you are joining us from. If you're coming from LinkedIn, if you're coming from YouTube, let us know where you are streaming live from. Also, your location in terms of if you're in the United States, outside of the United States, in the United Kingdom, wherever you are, I'm very much interested. I'd like to know where our listeners are joining in from. And so now I'll say, Imba, welcome to the show. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm, I'm glad that you made it because I know you're very busy. So I was like, okay, Imba, yes, she's and yeah, it's been a while. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Excited to be
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah, yeah, before we begin to have some critical questions, because the topic we want to look into today is very, very essential, not just even to leaders, but to everyone in in the workplace. So, and it's about every gender. It's about the masculinity. It's about the femininity. It's about energy, like energy. And I'm really, really excited about this topic. So, I know we want to look into communication and leadership and how we can master masculinity and femininity energy in the workplace. But one thing I want to know about you in Vice, how did you start your journey? Like, tell us about you, the real you, the you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the me. I started my journey. We migrated here when I was 10 years. I'm an immigrant, first generation immigrant. My journey started when I migrated here. It really threw me into the age. And I always got training and development every job that I had. I always had area and I've always had a very strong passion and about humans and people and the way we think, make decisions, and what triggers us and emotions. So I went to school, bachelor's in journalism, as I was really interested in telling um, of the oppressed population a voice. And when I bachelor's degree at 22 years old, I came out a single mom at 22 years old, and I still derailed me from going into an career because I had to support myself and my child. Through that journey, a lot of that job to Fordham University to get a master's in adult education development, and from there, really the workspace as a college professor, like speaking as well as communication. I started in healthcare as a trainer, and from that's really how it started, growing and learning, and I got even stronger, and curiosity never left me, and that propelled me to go into integrative nutrition to really understand what is a whole human, what are the drivers that makes a dozen, and I became a certified and started coaching the workplace and coaching executives, and I really wanted to so I went through the IPEC became a certified executive energy leadership. I learned everything about energy, and I keep that's what brings me here today.
Thank you. That was an amazing. Yeah, you were a little bit cutting out. I want to believe it's network issues, but you were a little bit cutting out at some time. But I hope it's going to get better. So now we'll go strictly into today's conversation, and which is masculinity and femininity and energy in the workplace. And I want to know, how does this affect communication and leadership? Because I remember during our conversation when we were talking about your expertise, what you've been doing, how you got to where you are, and you told me that, Florence, I'm very much interested. I really love to talk about masculinity and femininity energy in the workplace. And I actually took a pause. I was like, okay, is that going to be energy diversity? I was like, I haven't thought about that. So tell me, how would you define masculinity and femininity energy in the workplace?
I think we have to start by defining as neither good or bad to a gender. So everything is created at a high technological design that masculine and feminine energy. Masculine and feminine energy. Now, how balanced or your feminine, what really portrays. Some people have masculine energy, some people have a. Very rarely do you find individuals, unless they've done the energetic work to balance it. It's got nothing to do with gender, and it's got that we are created and born, and the fact that it's regardless of our judgments that we have been raised with, because society that has labeled everything as good or bad, and we can't escape the fact that the masculine energetic traits and traits, and when we're talking about them, it's really good to. So what is the masculine traits, and how does it show up in the workplace? Let's think logic, analytics, drive, planning. That's all the masculine. Go into the feminine, and the feminine is the creative innovator, the one who thinks outside who's highly intuitive, who sees, right? That's the feminine trait. It's also joy. It's also pleasure. And we are looking at work see where the imbalance is when you're highly driven by revenue and numbers and goals, and overlooks the aspects as not accepted or not a culture of individuals that become oppressed and feel that they don't belong in the workplace, not heard, they're not valued. And those balance in that manner also are the burnout. They have low engagement. So the ideal organization has so that it can really be effective.
Hmm. Hmm, I see. So that actually means that you could be a woman, but you could exhibit masculine energy, and you as a person you get to exhibit both traits. You can just be man
Yes.
exhibiting masculinity, or a woman exhibiting I know femininity, but you could be anybody. You could be any. You could even be non-binary and exhibit any of those traits at a given time or at a given place. Amber, I don't know. I think I will encourage you to remove your to not use your earbud so that we can hear you clearly, if it's possible.
I mean,
You were still cutting out. There is um there is a lag, a serious lag coming from your words and action and sound. While Amber is fixing microphone and also taking a look at our sound system, I want to see those who are joining us. If you're joining us, tell me where you are. Tell me what questions you have. What are your expectations for today's show? What do you want to talk about? What questions do you have? Tell me where you are. I can see some people telling us to join in from Indiana. I want to believe so. Yes, Indiana, Columbus, and Indiana. I can see some people say great topics. Thank you very much, Wilson, for joining us. Indogesity from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. Streaming from YouTube. Some people are streaming from LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us. All I want to see if you have questions. Do not forget to drop them on the chat. I'll definitely go back to take questions. We have Amber's LinkedIn in the QR code. Just take your phone, scan the code, and you can connect with LinkedIn on you with Amber on LinkedIn. While Amber is getting ready to come, I just want you to know that you can also connect with Bavarde, Bavarde Consulting and Management on LinkedIn. And this show is brought to us on by Bavarde Consulting and Management. So you can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can connect with us. You can also click on our website to get to know more about to, to get to know more about us. Amber, when you're ready, let me know. Okay. So do not forget to drop your question. Do not forget to tell us where you're coming from, where you're joining us from, and so that we can know where our audience are joining us from. Amber, are you ready? Okay. I guess there is still network issue going on from Amber's side. Anyways, today we want to look into communications and leadership. I want to look into how to master masculinity and the femininity energy in the workplace. Just from what Amber has said so far, you could be a male by gender, but yet still exhibit femininity based on situations, based on circumstances. And one of the things that we really want to look into today, we'll have various questions that I want to share with Amber. Okay, I can see what is going on with our network. Our network is dropping low, so it's going to be network issue. Like she actually has network issue in the United States. I would have said you would never have a network issue in the United States, but technology will always be technology. But some of the questions that I have for Amber that we'll be asking her when she comes live would also be about the misconceptions about masculinity and femininity energy. Like, I'm a man. Can I exhibit woman? I'm non-binary. What should I exhibit? How should I present myself in the workplace? Should I present myself as being strong, as being nurturing, as being adaptive? Should I present myself as being calm or as being aggressive? There's different kinds of energy, and we want to look into that with Amber today. We also have some questions about how to leverage as a leader. How can we leverage masculinity and femininity energy to address certain key issues within the organization, and of course, how to promote diversity and inclusion in our communication and leadership styles.
Florence, can you hear me?
Ready? Yes, I can hear you. Are you ready? But your network is low.
Is, is it better?
Yes, it's better. I can hear you clearly now. Just for me to see your face, I can see your system, your PC, your laptop.
Yeah,
So
it's
you need to turn the camera to you now.
yeah, it's not. There we go.
Yes,
Is
it's
better?
better now. Yes, there is no longer lag. It's no longer lagging. Thank you very much. I was just talking
Okay.
about some of the expectations that we should expect from our conversation today. And you've been able to give a very good definition about what masculinity and the femininity energy is in the workplace. And I heard what you said, but in case the audience didn't, so I already rephrased that to you. So now let's go to the what are the common misconceptions about masculinity and femininity energy in the workplace?
Yeah, I think the common misconceptions is very common, and are there things that we've heard as children, and we still hear them today, like men, you know, women shouldn't show do if you're assertive as a label negatively as rude or uh, not easy to work with. Have to I be honest that the core by the masculine energy and that sense of it. So when women enter the work, we were in a safe space to be able to live in our feminine energy. They're had to be able to be promoted. We exude more of those masculine traits, so that a lot of women who have traits of always being very logical, not giving room for emotions in the workplace, intuition in the workplace, because that's what the corporate did for a long time. And the vice versa was a little bit sensitive. Often they were called to be a leader. Um, feelings also, they were labeled, and for the corporate structures, we have to really a hard look at our structures and see labeling or, or boxing people in and not tapping into their true potential, who's truly balanced with both the masculine and powerful being who can impact our just driving strategy.
Hmm. So how do we address these issues? Because there are different energies, there are different ways that we could come off to people. For instance, as a black woman, when in the room when you're talking, sometimes you could get loud as a black woman. You could get loud and you're like, you're being aggressive. So, and
Yeah.
that is just a misconception because I talking loud or a little bit louder than my usual voice does not mean I'm hungry, does not mean I'm aggressive. Maybe I was just trying to make a point clear. So, how do we address this misconception as an individual now?
First of all, we have to have clarity on what we're judging and why. I think the quality of our lives and cultures are only our true reflection. We're willing to answer ourselves, and as leaders, be really clear of wanting to be a culture at a culture that is not, and why. The reason is that it's rooted in a limiting belief. It's rooted in a girls can't do this. You know, girls can't eating. You know, all these all of all of these stereotypes that we were raised with to be executive assistants. Men that are had a long try, boxed in and judge and make fun. The same thing. Like, are we holding these stereotypes? Where are we and our people accountable to fit into those? That's really where we need to change. And are we giving people the spaces, bring their whole selves to work authentically? Is really where the balancing of the energy. For a long time, we were required to come, right? Shape shift to come into work. The cultures go, this is what's accepted. And this roadmap is showing me that I need to do to shape shift and fit into that little. Are we making our people shape shift, truly creating spaces where whole beings, all of their talents, all of their creativities, a balanced manner, and truly people from who they are versus who we're
Versus the leadership, who they are actually. That's a great point out there. I know we do have some toxic traits now as an individual. There are some toxic traits. Human, every human beings have toxic traits because I know I do personal development coaching for people, and one of the things that I'll look into is breaking certain habits. So now, individually now, how can we address toxic issues of toxic masculinity or gender biases in the workplace, and how can we create addressing and creating a positive and supportive workplace for all employees?
talking about toxic masculinity, everything other. There's also a toxic femininity, right? Some balance when those energies are unbalanced is
Mm-hmm.
really, really high. Become so you have to start on how do you create structures that support individuals to be better. If I have been operating from a toxic, gotten ahead, and now I'm the CEO,
Mm-hmm.
strategies and structures do I use as CEO to create a shift to become more, right? Less rigid, more flexible,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's there's a level of masculinity that's in place out of fear. And on top of that, hey, where are the people that you're hiding? Because it's gotten this person here, and we identify those pieces. How can I support you to, right? And what often happens with those fans, their relationships increase, relationships skyrocket. They're aiming for relationships in the workplace, and they're up because at the end of the day, you're a leader. You need to be able to build connection, and the level of power of that you're as leaders, we have a level of influence. If you're on the toxic side, what are you influencing you? Right? What is it costing getting you? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Become more balanced. We become more balanced by bringing strategists and coaches to work with our people to create those spaces where people can bring their whole selves to dance
Yeah.
between the energy.
Okay. Let's look into empathy and emotional intelligence. How does this play in mastering both the masculine and the feminine energy in the workplace?
Empathy, when you start to do the work to balance your own, not bypass empathy, because doing the takes for you to embark on that journey, introspective journey. You are getting to know, also bringing out those pieces of yourself that you are also taking out the around, whether it's a toxic masculine or an armor, right? That people think that you're on top that out. And empathy cannot exist without. So first is getting the person to say, wow, I have, right? I want to create a change within myself. Empathy floods in towards yourself, and you're not perfect. And then you become way more that you serve as well. But empathy is really a muscle, and it starts with you. We were never taught how to speak to ourselves. We were never
Yeah,
in a relationship with ourselves.
definitely.
So become empathetic is to start to build a yourself. And the moment that you start to have, it is so much more easier for you to be another person, and put yourself in there.
Yeah. That's so true. It's easier. It's easier for you to judge other persons. It's very much easier. But when it is you, you probably do not even know how you come out to people or what impression you leave on people's. So it's very much easier. It's very easy to judge. So let's look at it from leadership standpoint now, because of one of the things that we're looking into is on communication and leadership. So we want to see how leaders can also enhance and harness this energy, masculine and feminine energy in the workplace. So now, how can leaders leverage both this energy, the masculine and the feminine energy in the workplace, to address complex issues?
Understanding where they're energetic for both, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because leaders and our actions have a lot of our words.
mm-hmm,
So we need to understand your energetic vibrations step in the room way before you even are. People always remember how you made them feel. You said,
yes,
and
definitely.
that is it's understanding where are you in your energy, where's your imbalance, so that you can create more balance. It's a beautiful dance because often the armor, right? But the armor is built out of fear, that if you knew that I have a weakness, I will no longer be the CEO or the CIO. But once you create a safe space to and embrace that fear and embrace your human, then you're really able to create people and create environments and culture. You're going to be able to pick up the energetic traits, and you're also going to give people permission to laughter, emotion, intuition. A lot of leaders, the best leaders, they were highly intuitive, but highly strategic, right? So when you understand that, you're able to commune with both of the energies, and you should
Emma,
to do
I'm
so
not
as
sure if
well.
that's for me, but can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
I cannot hear you. You want to check if you're on mute? Not sure what's going on there.
Touch any. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I cannot hear you. That's just the issue.
I haven't touched anything.
Can you hear me now? Can you talk?
Yes. Hear you.
Okay, I'm not. I don't know if can the audience hear me? That's one thing I need to know. Um, the audience, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please leave a thumbs up or a note. Let me take note of that because I um. Can you talk now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I don't know what's
Okay.
happened, but it just went mute, and they said they can hear me. So I guess that's fine, and they can hear you too. Okay, please go on. I was listening to you.
Sure.
You were talking about how to
So
leverage the masculine and feminine energy in the workplace.
yeah. So then when you leaders are able to dance between masculine, regardless of gender, the best up and empathize when needed. it.
Mhm.
They're able
By the
to
way,
move.
Amber, by the way, I'm being informed now that you're still cutting out. Like there is a break in
I
transmission of what you're saying and what we can hear. So that's why I was thinking if it was your airball, because I know sometimes when I use airball, I'm being told I'm being cutting out too.
no, I if I turn them on, don't.
I want to thank you all for your patience. While Amber is trying to take off our AirPod, let's see if it gets better. Amber, is it better? Can you talk? Maybe you talk a little bit slowly so it doesn't cut out because it was really cutting out. No.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
You could hear
Yes, I
better?
can hear you.
Can you?
I think you have to make a conversation, then we can know if it's still cutting out.
Okay, so the best leaders are able to and identify when they're able to when they're their masculine or feminine trait. There is a play drive, logic, and really focus on out and order. But there's also a place where we need what type of energetic trait is it? Empathy, is it intuition, is it key? Once you are able to have that, you can really create an environment, right? Because you're doing it yourself by giving permission to also lead with empathy, that's strategy and logic, but being able to which trait is needed at which moment is a impactful leader.
Okay, talking about strategies, what are some strategies to promote gender equality and inclusivity in the workplace?
One the really understand are your where are you holding could be in the language that you're using, policy, um, structures in the gatherings. Where are you holding still judgments? Where are you meeting and judging based on their gender? Those are where are we creating roles and we are identified for either a male or a female. It starts everywhere. You have to look at organization. You have to look at the way that you are compensating, the way that you are creating. You think of inclusion and the way you think of gender and diversity so much broader than gender, color, or our origin. It is by far it's our capabilities is really you know can it can happen anywhere but it's really looking at those pockets of our line to that are still hold stereotypes and archaic mindsets including gender um, at all and becoming really balanced and inclusive.
Hmm. In the workplace. Okay. Yeah. So the last question I have before we begin to take questions, if we have any, is what one sentence advice would you give to someone or to a leader now who is trying to master both the masculine and the feminine energy in the workplace? What's that one sentence advice before we go into resources?
Question. You have to start where you are. First of all, are you unbalanced? Are you in the toxic feminine? That's the first step. You are in your energetic set point. And then step is once you have that knowledge in the work, are you willing to do the work? Because it starts getting into an interpersonal self where you're able to really interest the way that you have been protected affecting your some balance and leaning towards one energy. Before, but the toxic feminine is toxic masculine. You know, it's aggressive, it's driven, and it's cutthroat. The toxic activity looks like a person who take action and come out of that victimhood, really implement a development or for career toxic feminine. When you're always pointing the finger at someone to take care of it or the day, it goes both ways. So grades, it takes a lot of courage to shine that light within themselves and hold that message, change this. And we can change it at any only permission that we need to create the changes ourselves. It takes a commitment. So identify where you ask yourself, am I willing to commit myself to do this work?
Hmm. Am I willing to commit myself to change? That brings us on to the big question of this is what are the resources or what are some resources and that they can use to continue the development? This is going to be more of personal development in this area.
Yeah, so I would recommend to start to really the trades and and the corporate the history of it and how it was formed. Tell where as a society we were masculine was always celebrated. The woman's stage, it was not only 50 years ago when we entered as an admin to a man. So educating yourself to understand and asking why was medicine celebrated and only, I mean, it's everywhere. It's not just in the corporate. Once you start to educate yourself and rooted, deeply rooted, and it goes on for centuries to understand the structure you're operating in, that awareness and that learning, is a resource. And then if you commit yourself to doing the work with a coach that specializes in energy and energetic traits and the corporate work,
Mm.
and second, workplace. If you want to find more resources, ask maybe your employee resource D&I council and start the conversation there. When you start the conversation there, then a lot of interested, and then you can create committees and step into really creating the change.
That's great. You have to just be committed to really creating a change. And there is one question I'd like to ask you before taking questions, if we have any, and that is about diversity fatigue. There's been a lot of debate about diversity fatigue, and if you follow in the Global Inclusion Forum, the topic that was mostly, or um, should I use the word mostly now? That was voted was more of diversity fatigue. So as a leader, as an immigrant, as a black woman or brown woman, as an immigrant, what do you think? What is your opinion about diversity fatigue?
I think is real, just like the decision fatigue. Gender equity fatigue. Again, it's that brick walls inside our corporate spaces. How to be more inclusive because we're the numbers and we're getting that we're not realizing that it's not, and that is what's driving the fatigue. Human efforts, and we have our metrics, and look, we've roll by X%. But what happened? Are they included? Are they decision? Their voices being heard? Are you tapping diverse experiences, their perception? Be done. So diversity fatigue is coming from we're still looking at diversity front. Let's drive the strategy. Let's bring in the numbers. Look, we're diverse. But then with our diverse team members, they're not happy. They don't feel heard. So, of as to how we do that by creating spaces where leaders and individuals and team members can come in and contribute at all levels, have positions where they can make the front lines, be in front of the stages, think that far ahead, and we're strategy, and we're overlooking the heroes.
Okay, if we're going to look into the statistics of DI consultants or DI professionals in leadership now, I know we all know the numbers. We cannot see the numbers, but we know definitely is low the scale. What do you think the leaders should do or should invest in to also encourage more buy-in of DI leaders in leadership and management roles?
Well, I think for one thing that leaders need to do is to having diverse voices in the diverse bodies. That different. We can bring the bodies through the door, but utilize to create the change that is needed so that and heard, then we're just a revolving door, and that's a very committing yourself to hitting, a number, right, or a metric in recruiting. It's a commitment to truly invest in putting roles to diverse candidates that are coming in, and that looks completely different. And with commitment, they don't realize that they need that the end door. They need that consultant to help them, because it's not really creating seats at the table.
It's not. It's not. Thank you very much for your opinion on that. So, lastly, I want you to connect diversity fatigue to the masculine and feminine energy that would have in the workplace. How would you do that? How does diversity fatigue connect with masculinity and femininity energy in the workplace?
I think that speak has still to this day women in the workplace. We're still making less. Right, our masculine count still make up the image of the not the C-suite roles, but the lower.
Mhm.
It's not very common for women to this suite, and you can see the oppressive model still in place. So it's connected, right? When you're thinking of diversity, so it's the same thing. It's enough to just get women through the door and not utilize their entire skill set. Which pieces of themselves, pieces they need to leave at home. Never going to hit your DNI numbers, right? If I
Mm.
have to compartmentalize the way that I am and to be successful in this, at the end of the road, I'm going to self. I'm going to not fully the full potential employee that I can be, seen, heard, and included. Right? So you're never going to hit your DNI balance the two, and you create an inclusive celebrates all of the trades and on them. I think it's very, very different when you're thinking of dispersing the work to your team,
Mhm.
right? Have let's say for this example, member who is exuding the feminine traits of creation, thinking outside the box, creative projects, right? Female team member who's highly analytical and loves to create you the charts, then give her the analytics. You have to take gender as to look at talent for who they are and what are their. Once you create a space where they can fully be themselves, be able to maximize their skill sets. We're not doing
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said now. Being feminine or being a woman or being or exhibiting femininity doesn't actually take away some potentials and skill set that you have that may not even speak femininity. So all you need to do is being your authentic self, expanding your skills, coming to work to the workplace with your true self. Who are you? What can you do? And that is very great. And supporting those people, support is very important because they could get burned out if you see a woman that does data analytics because uh, she could get burnout, which is why the support from leadership is very important. So I really want to say thank you for all of your insight, Inba. I really appreciate it. To our
You're welcome.
listeners and our audience out there, we are running off the session. So if you have questions, we can take in questions. Question in the few minutes. We can take in question while I'm waiting for question. I want you to know that you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also connect with Amber on LinkedIn. You can see take your camera, scan the code. I decided to be innovative. Scan the code and connect with me on LinkedIn. This is Amber's LinkedIn. So scan the code and you can connect with Amber on LinkedIn to learn more about masculinity and femininity, energy in the workplace, and how you can master this. Amber takes it. I believe you still take clients. I know you've been coaching. Do you still take clients?
Yes, I still.
Yeah. So Amber takes she takes clients. She does leadership coaching, executive coaching. So she definitely needs to take clients. So connect with her on LinkedIn to learn more about how you can master both the masculine and the feminine energy, how you can be a proper leader, how you can communicate, how you can enhance this energy to create more of an inclusive space while dealing with your employees. Also, please do not forget to connect with Bavarde on LinkedIn. Send us a follow. Follow us on LinkedIn, yes. Follow Bavarde Consulting and Management on LinkedIn. We do not do executive coaching, but we could help with alignment. So do not forget to connect with me, connect with Imba, and of course, connect with Bavarde on LinkedIn. And if you would like to support our mission, you can take your phone and support our mission, scan, and anything you donate would appreciate. This is totally not for profit. Okay, so I want to believe we do have questions. Do we have questions? Okay, so we do not have questions. So I want to say, Amber, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate. Thank you for the time. Thank you for your patience, your perseverance, and the audience. Thank you very much. Also, uh, it's been a struggle with technology. It could happen, but I know because I personally am able to learn few things from you, and I know that the audience out there is also were able to learn few things to tap it from your insight and learn how to master uh, both the masculine and the feminine energy. So you could be anything, female, male, transgender, non-binary, whatever you are, but at different points in time, you could exhibit various energy just to achieve your goal. To achieve your goal. I hope to continue this conversation on LinkedIn. I would we do have what's this thing called newsletter. So I will be putting in more insight from the newsletter of our conversation today, which is why you all should follow Bavad on LinkedIn so you can see more about the insight in case you joined late or there were some technical issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a thanks from someone. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for joining us. Thank you very much. Okay, and here comes the end of the show. We want to say thank you. We'll have another show. Yes, I forgot. I'm gonna take it down Ava just for some minutes, just to run off the session. So yes, we do have another show, and this show I want every one of us to scan this code. We are bringing together a webinar which would help everyone in the workplace, not just the underrepresented, even though it's mostly for underrepresented. But click on scan the QR code to learn more. We have some upcoming events that would interest you. We have an event coming in March 10 and March 24, and we have amazing event coming in March 31st that would be looking into you positioning yourself to get the right job or business. So this is mainly targeted for underrepresented communities. But as an individual, if you're interested, please connect with me on LinkedIn to learn more. I want to say thank you all for joining us today. Please do not forget to support our mission. And here is my QR code to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll see you at our next DEI Small Talk. Thank you.